Hello, welcome to the conversation in News Central Television. This is a program where we bring you up to speed with all the political happenings on the African continent. I am Benga Aboroa.
And I'm Rita Omodia. Today on the conversation, we'll be switching gears to Nigeria, where new lawmakers for the 10th National Assembly have been elected. We'll also have situations in South Africa where South Africa is in danger of losing its benefits under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. This is because lawmakers in the United States are calling for a U.S.-Africa Trade Summit to be moved from South Africa in response to what they described as the country's deepening military relationship with Russia. Gbenga, I'm sure you have lots of things to say on this.
I mean, it seems South Africa cannot catch a break, and you wonder if South Africa is an extension or colony of the United States, because they seem to prick every single decision they make. South Africa is a sovereign nation of its own, and I believe they should be respected, and they should have the agency to decide who they want to have diplomatic relationships with, and cooperation, both military and otherwise. But I look forward to our conversation and get into the crux of it.
I do also, and it's quite intriguing that this is all coming from the United States of America. I mean, this was the first one where they said they accused South Africa of, helping Russia with its arms, and now again you want to exclude South Africa from the AGOA. I really do not know why the United States of America is at the forefront of all of this, but I'm definitely sure that our conversation will discuss more about this.
South Africa is caught in the middle of geopolitical power play.
Yeah, yes. Definitely. All right, let's begin situations in Nigeria.
Now, following Tuesday's election, Nigeria's ruling party has successfully maintained its hold on power in the country's parliament. The consensus candidates of the party were elected as a Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Godswill Akpabio, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, emerged as the leader of the Senate, while Jibrin Barau, representing the Kano South Senatorial District, was elected as the Deputy Senate President of the 10th National Assembly.
And the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, representing the Zaria Federal Constituency, is now the leader of the 10th House of Representatives, while Benjamin Kalu, who represents the Bende Federal Constituency in Abia State, was sworn in as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives after being nominated unopposed. President Bola Tinubu has, however, pledged to work closely with the lawmakers to bring about positive changes and improve the fortunes of the country. Now, joining us for this conversation, we have Abdulaziz Yari, is a spokesperson coalition of northern groups. We also have Mayokun Ilo, public affairs analyst, both joining us from Abuja, Nigeria. Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So I'm going to begin with you, Mayokun, and we're seeing situations playing out yesterday during the elections. And Akpabio and Abbas both had the President Bola Tinubu's backing to lead Parliament. What do you make of the proceedings that led to the emergence of these party men to lead the country's Parliament?
Well, we have a bit of history to go on. As at, was it 2015, when we had a president who said, I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. He was apathetic, so to say, towards who became the Senate president. Somebody took that bait, ran with it, and emerged the Senate president at the time. For 4 years, PMB, that's President Muhammad Buhari, did not enjoy his relationship. He couldn't do most of the things he had in mind to do with the help of the legislature at the time. So it is not a surprise that this current president took a different approach. He knew the person he wanted if he could have his way. But they also, beyond just having the intention, they knew how to play the politics behind it. He called, not just because the majority of APC in the House is not so strong as to deliver them whatever they want at any time if there is no coalition. So they went beyond party lines and approached all the members of the House. You saw the clip where he had a meeting with reps from across the country, elect at the time. That's Mr. Tinubu. By the time he had the meeting with them, the Labour Party, you expect the Labour Party to be the major opposition party, judging by the move of the obedience at the time. But when the guy met with Tinubu, he came out and he was wowed. He said, in fact, this is the best meeting I've had. It's about the best day of my life. It's the kind of hold the man, given his deep intellect, given his preparedness for the office, the kind of hold he has on whoever it is that interacts with him. He doesn't talk much, but when he talks, it makes sense, and a whole lot of sense. And it's somebody that has shown us that he means business. You know, it's barely 2 weeks in office, and everybody is coming to kind of regard him that, okay, this man has something upstairs. He has a mission. He has a vision for the country, and God willing, maybe he'll be able to accomplish a lot within the 4 years that he has in office.
Thank you, Mayoko. I'd like to bring Abdulaziz into the conversation. The National Assembly, the ninth and previous National Assemblies have often been criticized as being an extension of the executive branch and not serving as a check and performing its oversight functions. Since we know the intrigues that took place before the emergence of these principal officers of the 10th National Assembly, the executive was quite instrumental in their emergence and actually endorsed these key figures. Do you share the same sentiments that there are fears that the same fate of a rubber stamp assembly awaits the 10th National Assembly?
Yeah, actually, my brother, we initially kicked against the process. We were not in support of endorsement of candidates. In fact, we have been on air severally challenging the endorsement of any of the candidates and insisting on democratic process, insisting that the legislators be allowed to freely produce their leadership. In any case, the final analysis showed that there was an election of some sort. Candidates were allowed to contest, and there was an election, and a result was announced. You see, our fear initially, or we still entertain this fear, that where a leadership is anointed, endorsed by the executive, I mean, first and foremost, it amounts to brutal encroachment on the independence and autonomy of the legislature as a third arm of government. It negates the principles of separation of powers. And certainly, there is this saying that who pays the piper dictates the tune in the end. So we really share that concern that the leadership of the 10th Assembly may, if care is not taken, dance to the tune of the executive, which we really don't hope to happen. You see, we have argued that we had faith, abiding faith in the ability of the current president to cope with any leadership that could have emerged from the 10th Assembly. But you see, it's suspicious when the executive insists on selecting and in any way it recanted from imposing, because it allows some form of election. But really the process was challenged by particularly our group, insisting that there should be a democratically accepted process whereby the legislators, they are supposed to be gentlemen, they are supposed to be honorable and distinguished personalities elected from their constituents. So if they cannot really pick leaders from among themselves, then it's too bad.
Okay, Suleiman, sorry to cut you short. I want to know what exactly your grievances from your group is. Is it about the man Akpabio, or the fact that the Senate leadership is not coming from the northern region? What exactly are your major grievances?
No. We don't have any grievance. We don't have any worry about the man Akpabio or Tajudeen. We do not even have any regional worry about where the person comes from. What we are talking about is about a precedent. We don't want a precedent to be set where the executive can at will impose a leadership on the legislature. For democracy. That's just what we're saying. Anyone should be allowed to contest freely, and an election should be held by the members of the National Assembly. That was just our argument.
All right.
We know, I know Akpabio's his antecedent. I know he's capable of handling that. Abbas is, we are from the same constituency with him. I can attest for his competence, but what we are saying is the process through which they were brought. In any case, like I said, there was some form of election, so we can hope to have the best out of them.
Okay, I'm happy you cleared that out, Abdulaziz, and I'm going to bring Mayoko into the discussion. And we're looking at the person of the new Senate President, that is Akpabio. And he has been on the investigation by Nigeria's anti-graft agency for alleged corruption during his time as governor of Akwa Ibom State. And now he is the Senate President. Do you believe he has the moral standing to hold on to this position? And looking at his precedence as the Akwa Ibom State governor, do you feel that he will be able to lead the Senate aright?
You see, I think there is a marked
Sorry,
difference
Suleiman,
between-
just hold on a bit. I want Mayor Kun to just quickly answer this, please.
Okay, thank you. What I think is the man has been out of office of governor. He has no immunity since 2015. So if EFCC has something concrete on him, they should have been done and dusted by now. It's 8 years post his governorship. They've not even taken him to court, talk less of getting an injunction on him. You know, the problem we have now is that EFCC has become somebody or an institution that dwells too much on social media trials more than substance. If somebody has been in office in 8 years, he has left office for another 8 years, you've not done your investigation enough other than telling us that, okay, this man has stolen 100 billion, he has stolen 50 billion. I'm not advocating for the man. I don't know him from Adam. I don't think he's a saint either, because from the look of things, most people who go into public office in Nigeria at that level, somehow the port or the treasury appeals to them and they put things in their pockets. That is a matter for another day. But in the meantime, I don't think the man should suspend his political ambition or should suspend whatever it is that he chooses to do. He's been in the Senate before. He was there 2015 to 2019. He left there to become a minister of the Federal Republic. He only resigned to contest the presidency, the presidential party slot of the APC in maybe last year or thereabouts. So if EFCC had gotten something, it's not too late too anyway. People have a whole, I think Nicola Sturgeon of Scotland had to step down. Now she's been arrested, she's been released and what have you. So the Senate President of Nigeria doesn't have immunity. If they have something against him tomorrow, they can still bring it up. That is barring political incursions into the works of EFCC. But I think we are in for a new era. Maybe things will get better, not quite unlike the way we were used to. So for the man, his competence is not in doubt. He has done so much before. But I believe that he has the moral standing to lead the Senate.
Thank you very much, Mayoko. I'd like to bring back... Thank you, Mayoko. I'd like to bring Abdulaziz back into the conversation. Now, let's discuss the makeup of the 10th National Assembly. It features a more diverse opposition. You have members of parliament from different political parties. How do you think this will impact the proceedings at the National Assembly? Are we going to expect more horse trading, more dialogue? Will it affect the speed at which legislation will be passed, having a more diverse National Assembly?
I don't really think so, because we can see from what happened, from what transpired during the elections. I think there was no marked opposition, especially in the House of Representatives. Almost 80% of the legislators voted in one direction. Their votes went to one candidate. And I think that is a consensus that we should expect.
But sorry to interrupt you. That is for the leadership position. When it comes to key policies and bills being passed, don't you think they will, they might act differently?
I don't think they will, because you see, all these differences in political party are just theoretical. Most of them belong to the same party. They only perhaps decamped when they lost tickets from in their previous parties. So I really think they are going to have a consensus in their deliberations over bills. We have never really had such thing in the history of Nigeria, where the minority constitutes any hurdle in the passage of bills or debates. And most especially this one, like I said, what transpired during the election of the leadership would reflect on I think, the processes of the National Assembly. They have, I think, become, there does not seem to be any dissent as far as I'm concerned.
All right, thank you so much, Abdulaziz. I'm going to bring Mayoko into the discussion once again. And it's so good that Abdulaziz cleared out earlier on that they don't have a problem. I mean, he's from the coalition of the Northern Group. He said they don't have a problem with ethnicity, but rather the process at which the Senate president was brought into leadership position. But at the same time, we saw President Tinubu over time, even APC members saying that it would not be fair, or it would be fair for the leadership position of the Senate to go to the south, which means that there was a bit of zoning towards that region. And we saw other members, some people even saying from the southeast, saying that the Senate president should go towards them. Do you feel that that should have been an issue, this ethnicity that we're seeing, looking at the fact that APC also had issues with ethnicity and religion? What role exactly did it have to play in bringing out Akpabio as the Senate leader?
Well, everybody tells you it's not important until it becomes important. If people change narratives depending on where they are sitting per time. So the same people will tell you religion is not important. Having gotten what they want, they now know, okay, religion should be important. We should not have Muslim. They've taught the three positions in the country. Then talking about maybe Igbo people and Akpabio, I think it was more of a personal decision of Mr. President. And maybe the discussion he had was leading to the issue of the convention they had, where Tinubu emerged as the candidate of APC. If you remember, Akpabio was the first person to come on stage and talk, and he told the whole audience, okay, I'm stepping down for Jagaban of Bogu at the time. So I understood it was an horse trading that they had earlier, where Tinubu said, I need momentum for this convention. Can you step down for me, make it public, and in return, I will get you into the Senate presidency if you are able to make it back to the Senate. So maybe just to be true to his words, is what he has made sure he stood beside and behind the Akpabio to emerge as Senate president. So every other person, having given his word, is supposed to, like, with the decision, with the support of the holders, of course, have to give way to Akpabio. And they know that, okay, in terms of competence, it's also competent. In terms of balance, it brings balance into the whole equation. So it's not about, some people say, okay, for the ability to be able to check Tinubu's excesses coming from the south, then we should have a northerner. No, nobody checked Buhari. What you check him should be his conscience. What you check him will be the program that he has for the country. There is nowhere stated in the Constitution that, okay, the president has to be checked by one side or the other. We've had a southerner, we have a northerner now. The third person is a southerner, the fourth person is a northerner, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure we can work with what we have. The question you asked my colleague earlier about maybe performance of the House, I think the way, unfortunately, I have to agree with what he said, that the average politician in Nigeria, the core principle by which they live by is what's in it for me. So at the end of the day, for every decision of the executive, every bill that is coming to them, how does it benefit me? How does it benefit sometimes my constituency? If that answer is gotten, it doesn't matter whether you are APC or PDP. You can see the person that won the Speaker of the House. He got, that's like maybe 95, 97% of the old votes. Why? Because all of them, whether YPP, whether Labour Party, it's not about Peter Obi this time. I'm now in the House. They are expected to behave like family. I need to be chairman of one committee or vice chairman of another committee. As long as you have assured me of that enough things will come in our direction, we are willing to support. So the next thing for now is for the president to have good policies, because he has the assurance that those policies will pass through the House. But they should also be subjected to debate. It should not just be a rubber stamp. They should be able to question the executive when the need arises.
Thank you very much, Mayoko. And Abdulaziz, as we conclude, Mayoko ended on the note of policies. Now, how instrumental is the National Assembly in pushing the president's policies, and in terms of coordination and cooperation between the executive branch and the legislative branch? What areas of synergy do you foresee and how can both entities come together to achieve common goals?
You see, I think that in every process, especially in governance, there are extents and limits. There is this principle of separation of powers, where no other organ is allowed or expected to encroach on the functions of other organs. You see, unfortunately, over the years, our judiciary, the powers of our judiciary has been so much encroached upon that people have started to lose confidence in its ability to function properly as an independent organ. It has allowed itself to be emasculated by the executive. But I think the legislature has to some extent, up to this moment, maintained its independence to a certain level, depending on who is heading the assembly. You can see, I think, between 2015 and 2019, there was a really challenging National Assembly. The National Assembly was really up and doing, and that is what Nigerians, in most cases, describe as a standoff or something. So that's the real function of the National Assembly, to check the excesses of the executive. But I think even the members of the Ninth Assembly have admitted, some of them have admitted that they did not really live up to expectation. So I think what we should expect would certainly depend on the quality of the leadership we have in the National Assembly, which, like I said, Akpabio, in spite of all the allegations, like my other sister pointed out, I think there is a difference between trial, between investigation and conviction. He has not been convicted, so we expect him to reclaim his statesmanship and work and carry out the function expected of his position. And like I said, Abbas, a lot of us can attest to his statesmanship and uprightness. We hope we are going to have a National Assembly that will synergize first among itself, that will cooperate among itself to carry out the functions of expected of it. We're not saying it should cooperate 100% with the executive, even where the executive is going wrong. It should carry out its function as stipulated by the law.
All right, thank you so much, Abdulaziz Yari. Lots of expectations for the 10th National Assembly as they kickstart their administration. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation. Also, a very big thank you to Mayo Kunlo, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for joining us on this conversation.
Thank you very much.